Hey, Meta, start recording.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Welcome to Title Adam in the House, the podcast where Florida real estate gets real. Buyers, sellers, builders, lenders. If you're in the game, then you belong in the house. Let's get you to the closing table faster and with less stress. Let's go. Hey, everybody, it's Martin Scorsese. You might have seen my videos, Goodfellas Casino, and of course, The Departed. Just kidding. It's Title Adam. I'm in the house, but I'm wearing some glasses today that you've not seen me in. These are the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. And I got to tell you, great birthday gift. Just got them over the weekend for my birthday. Been playing around with them and wanted to bring you 3 things I wish I knew before I bought the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. Number 1, you can't stream live. You cannot go live on these glasses, which is fine. Number 2, the battery life is about half day if you're really using them like I do. And number 3, people will constantly question whether or not you're a pervert, even if you've never been one in your entire life. The reason that I like these glasses, and I think you'll like them, think about these things. Think about ping pong. Think about catching a prize fish. Think about a sunset on a beach that you may never walk on again. Think about holding your child for the first time. Think about looking at someone that you love and taking a picture of them. All of these things are great reasons to have the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. They are hitting the market and they're not available in all markets, but I've got a link. If you're interested, you can certainly check them out. Pick yourself up a pair. So having fun with them, wearing them, and trying to learn the technology and trying to apply it to what I do as a title insurance agent. So let's get that out of the way. If you're buying, selling, building, refinancing, hey, if you're doing a deal in Florida, I want you to tag in Title Adam because I'm local and licensed and I'm looking to help, baby. And I'm hands-free at this point too. So we'll go through some of the features of the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses, and you'll get tired of hearing me say it, but I'm going to say the name because I want you to remember it. And I want you to remember it because not everybody is wearing these today. All right. Meta Ray-Bans have been out for a while. AI glasses are all over the TikTok shop, but I'm coming to you with the creme de la creme. And we're looking at, I could watch an Instagram reel right now while filming this video, and you would not be able to tell. You might hear the sound coming through the headphone or the microphone, but you wouldn't be able to see it on the screen. And there's so many just really cool features. And actually, I'll pull them up and give you a screen capture recording later too. So listen, that's the new thing in my life. I just got through a birthday. I just got through a crazy month in July as a title insurance agent. And I am ready for August. And August will be over before you know it, because what happens in August is school gets back in and all of that easy commute that we've been enjoying every single day is gone. Kids on the road, new drivers going back and forth to school. It's going to get chaotic. It's going to get hectic. And I already know my timeline is going to be full of kids with their backpack going back to school. So we know that that's coming in August. We're ready for it. All right. For me, I've got 2 kids finishing up at Lehigh Seniors High School this year, go Lightning. And I've got a young one that's not yet in school. She's 3. So we've got a lot happening. We'll be busy. We're going to enjoy it because Santos is going to graduate high school this year, and Leo is finishing up, doing his junior year now. So he'll be finishing next year. We're soaking it up. We love our kids. We love Lehigh. And again, we love being here for those that are buying or selling, coming in or leaving our great community. We want to be there to help you. All right. So that's what I do. And I've got the office here at 3507 Lee Boulevard. They call it Lee Boulevard Central. And I'll tell you why. Everyone wants to be here. All right. Lehigh's a great town. I love being in this spot because I'm a 33936er. I live over by Walmart. I live by the hospital. I live on a really good grid with city water and sewer. I love my location. I'm not even 5 minutes from the office here. But the office that I have in Lehigh is just across the street from Waffle House. And guess what? They're building a Mickey D's right next to that. They're building Eliano's Coffee, which is just on the other side of Stewart Title. You know it as Townsend Title. I know it as Stewart Title because they sold to a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate. Listen, life is all about money. I'm happy for you. Go, go, go.
Don't call yourself a family business when you've sold out, though. And that's just my personal take. Hey, for legal purposes, this is all just a joke. It's my opinion. It's for entertainment purposes only. And that's just my razzing here on my competitors here locally. If I had an opportunity to sell for big bucks like that, I might have done it myself. I'm not there. I want to bring some topics to you that I think I've come across in the last couple of days. I think they might benefit you. So stay tuned if you're in for some news. I've got local coming up first. Local Southwest Florida, new traffic pattern coming to Three Oaks Parkway as construction moves forward. Drivers navigating construction around Three Oaks Parkway and Daniels Parkway will see another major traffic pattern change beginning Monday, August 3rd. The change is part of the ongoing Three Oaks Parkway extension project, which will eventually connect Three Oaks Parkway from Alico Road to Daniels Parkway, while also widening a portion of Daniels Parkway. Now, think about that for a second. All right, my son works at Target at Gulf Coast Town Center. So we're talking about Alico Road to the west of Gulf Coast Town Center, where the Home Depot is. And it's going to shoot right through there from Home Depot all the way up, they say, to Daniels. And that's going to take you, what do you got to go through to get to Daniels? You got to go through Fiddlesticks. So you're going to be able to shoot all the way through an area that's been landlocked for a long time. So this is exciting. For drivers who regularly travel through the construction zone, the new lanes could bring some relief, but they will also come with new turning patterns and a road closure. The biggest change will be for drivers traveling south on Three Oaks Parkway. Southbound traffic will shift onto the inside lane of the new southbound Three Oaks Parkway lanes. Drivers will also need to pay attention to changes around Cody Lee Road and the Publix Shopping Center near Fiddlesticks Boulevard, also near Leone's Pizza, which we went to last week. Really enjoyed myself there as well. All right. At Cody Lee Road and the new Southern Publix Shopping Center entrance, traffic will also be limited to right in and right out movements. Northbound Three Oaks Parkway traffic will remain in the current outside lane. Drivers heading north will be permitted to turn left into the new Southern Publix entrance. Old Fiddlesticks Boulevard will also close between the roundabout and the southern access to the Publix Shopping Center near Fiddlesticks. Lee County says the closure is necessary so crews can complete final construction on that section of roadway. Phase 1 of the project will remain closed, and another traffic shift is also planned farther north as crews prepare for improvements to Palomino Lane. Palomino would be the other side of Daniels on the north. Northbound traffic will shift west into the bidirectional left turn lane north of Job Road, Kings Crossing. For people who live, work, and shop in the area, construction has already become part of everyday life. And that's really what you need to know. They go on to talk a little bit about how it frustrates drivers. Look, growth always hurts. Grow up. All right. Monday's traffic changes are one piece of a much larger Lee County transportation project. The Three Oaks Parkway Extension Project will extend Three Oaks Parkway north from Alico Road to Daniels Parkway. The project also includes widening Daniels Parkway from 6 lanes to 8 lanes between Danport Boulevard and Powers Court Appaloosa Lane. So we're going to get a little wider there on Daniels. Lee County considers the project a Tier 1 priority for the Board of County Commissioners as the county works to expand infrastructure alongside population growth. Construction is currently running ahead of schedule, according to Lee County. The overall project is expected to be completed in spring of 2028. Now, this is also local. Drivers in the Daniels Parkway area are also seeing construction around the I-75 interchange, but that work is not part of the Three Oaks Parkway Extension Project. The I-75 Daniels Parkway interchange work is a separate Florida Department of Transportation project. And that means drivers traveling through the area could encounter construction associated with 2 different transportation projects. Lee County advises drivers to continue monitoring changing traffic patterns as work progresses. Keep your eyes on the road, guys. Put your phone down. Maybe pick up a pair of Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. Look at me putting the pump on them. And you can have your map right in front of you. Overall project expected to be completed in spring of 28. All right. That's your local piece, and we'll move into state news. And before I do, let me just say it is an absolute treat. It is a pleasure to be here with you today and to talk a little bit about what's going on in the marketplace, both locally and statewide. And I'll take these off until we get into the next piece where we really need them. Let's be honest, we don't really need them to look at you and to ask you, if you're hearing my voice, if you're watching me, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow, the share, the like, hit a button on your screen as long as it's not unsubscribe or unfollow or block. I need your support. This is how I grow, is through organic engagement with people like you. You're watching for a reason, right? So give me a like, help me out here. Let's go on to state news. State news, cash-strapped HOAs ramp up foreclosures against delinquent homeowners. This is coming out of Fox News. Compass International Chairman and CEO Robert Refkin discusses home inventory and affordability as mortgage rates creep higher. HOAs across the nation are reportedly taking a tougher stance on unpaid dues, pursuing foreclosure against more homeowners as communities grapple with mounting financial pressures. Real estate experts say the aggressive collection efforts are being driven by rising operating costs, shrinking reserve funds, and concerns that unpaid assessments could leave associations unable to cover essential expenses. According to real estate firm Adam, love it, HOA-related foreclosures jumped nearly 40% compared with 2 years earlier, the Wall Street Journal reported. I want to say that again. HOA-related foreclosures jumped nearly 40% compared with 2 years earlier. The report also found HOA foreclosures are rising faster than overall mortgage foreclosure rates. So the HOA is quicker than the lender to start that process. But that makes sense because the lender does not want to own the home. They do not want to take the home back. They want you to own the home. They want you to make monthly payments to them on time and with a late fee if you're not on time. And the HOAs are saying, we got to have money to fix the pool pump. We've got to have money to cut the grass. We have to foreclose on these people if they're not paying. Brian Fox, a co-founder of real estate technology firm Benutech, says HOAs are being forced into more aggressive collections to avoid their own financial collapse. And he tracks HOA delinquency trends and foreclosures. An aerial view of a large, let's see, that's an ad. Adam. HOAs typically rely on monthly or annual dues from residents to fund maintenance, repairs, insurance, landscaping, and other community services. But as some homeowners struggle with higher living costs and mounting expenses, more associations are facing a rise in delinquent accounts. Let me just take a quick second to tell you, by the way, you're watching this live on Title Adam TV. So believe me, when I go back and edit this, I'll take out any slip, any slur, anything like that that doesn't look perfect, and I'll give you a polished product. But I'm acknowledging that we're here live and you're getting to hear every little piece. So enjoy that. Enjoy that. All right. Rather than offering extended grace periods, some associations are moving delinquent accounts to attorneys more quickly or filing liens against homeowners who fall behind on assessments. The crackdown is affecting communities ranging from suburban condominium complexes to luxury neighborhoods. And some Georgia residents are speaking out after facing the wrath of their local homeowners HOA, with some people having their homes foreclosed upon. In 2025, HOAs reportedly filed 284,933 liens against homeowners, roughly one every 90 seconds. That figure represents an 8.6 increase from 2024, according to property records. And that is a statistic that Jeff Tamburello needs to know. If you're watching this, Jeff, I hope that you wrote that down. It said in 2025, HOAs reportedly filed 284,933 liens against homeowners, and that was roughly one every 90 seconds. I don't know why that strikes me as a stat that Tamburello would really like. So tag him in the comments here if he's not watching. A late 2025 report by Reserve Study found that nearly 3/4 of association-governed communities are underfunded. Specifically, 74% of associations were less than 70% funded, meaning they may not have sufficient reserve savings to pay for expected repairs and capital projects. What happens in this instance is the HOA begins leaning on the people that are dependable. The HOA begins leveling assessments against everyone, knowing that the good people will pay. And it's unfortunate that it happens this way, but this is the story of life. There's people that do right and people that do wrong. And there are times that people that do wrong are not punished or they're rewarded the same way that someone that does right is. But I believe that in the end, these things all sort themselves out. I believe that these kind of things, you want to continue to do the right thing. So even though your neighbor's not paying that HOA fee, you should still faithfully pay yours. And they depend on you to pay that. HOAs spend money, and so they only can receive money through their homeowners. They don't do Title Atom TV. They don't sell Meta Ray-Ban display glasses. They don't sell title insurance. They don't do that stuff. They collect payments every month, and hopefully they get it every month. According to the Foundation for Community Association Research, 93% of surveyed associations reported increases in property and casualty insurance premiums. I want to say it again because these are important numbers and I might have said it too fast. According to the Foundation for Community Association Research, 93% of surveyed associations reported increase in property and casualty insurance premiums. That's close enough to say every HOA has been impacted by rising insurance costs, right? Don't forget that HOAs often provide blanket coverage or master policies for common elements or for the clubhouse, things like that. You got to pay for that. And when the insurance cost goes up, well, that's going to cause your HOA fee to go up. It's only math, guys, right? At the same time, HOAs have been hit with rising costs for staffing, landscaping, maintenance, and building materials. More than half those premiums rose between 11% and 25%, while about 10% reported increases exceeding 100%. Adding further pressure on HOA budgets and increasing the need to collect assessments from homeowners on time. That's a tough one right there. And I tell you, I'm working on deals right now for condos. I constantly close deals that are in HOAs. We're getting estoppels. We know that this is something that's really, really relevant. This is something that's really important for you if you're buying or selling a condo, but also if you're a real estate professional who might be fielding questions, who might be answering and consulting those that own in those communities that have homeowners associations. It's rare that you would find a homeowner association that was voluntary. It is possible. There are some. But those HOAs that are run like a tight ship, they rely on those HOA fees and they will take the steps necessary. So don't forget, you paid your mortgage off, great. But if you don't pay your property taxes, you don't pay your HOA fees, you will always be at risk. You will always be at risk of losing that property for non-payment. It doesn't seem fair, but that's the way that it goes. And I just would tell you to think about that. There's a lot of benefits to being in a homeowners association. There's no question. It's a great fit for a lot of people, but there's a lot of people it's not a great fit for, and we should be talking about it. And we should be looking at the financial stability and the overall health of the HOA. If you were buying a property in a homeowners association, did you look at the budget? Have you looked at the financials? Do you know anything outside of the one paper that you signed in your contract that says how much the monthly fee or the quarterly fee was? Do you know anything? Do you know when they're going to need to replace the roof? Do you know when the pool is going to need to be refinished? You don't want to move into an HOA and the first contact with them is welcome. Here's your bill for an unexpected expense. Caveat emptor, do your due diligence and buyer beware. The seller has an obligation to tell you what they know, but you have an obligation as a buyer to do your homework. And this is just something that Title Adam would tell you as a friend. Do your homework and don't expect someone else to tell you something that you should be looking for yourself. It's just not how it works in today's world. Grow up. Go on to national news. This was an interesting story. We got a guy in Cape Cod who's now suing his mortgage company because his house is about to fall off a cliff, I believe. Let me read what I've found. This is from the Boston Globe. Before he became known as the guy who paid $5.5 million for a house threatening to tumble into Cape Cod Bay, and later as the plaintiff, John G. Bonomi Jr. was just a man who had fallen in love with a piece of real estate. The shingled house perched on the edge of a Wellfleet cliff was mammoth with sunset and water views, an Instagram-worthy kitchen, and so many ensuite bathrooms you'd never get rid of house guests. And if grim and widely reported environmental assessments about catastrophic erosion and ongoing legal action made the price tag a little high, well, who among us hasn't ignored red flags and geotechnical engineers and listen instead to our hearts. And that, dear reader, is the crux of John Bonomi versus JP Morgan Chase Bank, a case making its way through the United States District Court for the Southern District of New York. Bonomi, a retired New York attorney, is alleging that the bank shouldn't have lent him the money because, and this is directly from his own suit, no rational person would have considered purchasing the property and certainly not at the full asking price, end quote. It's been said that the definition of chutzpah is killing your parents and then pleading for mercy because you're an orphan. Does applying for a bank and giving it to you also qualify? I don't know what that was. I will cut that out of the final edit, but I'm just reading here. I'm doing the anchor man, I guess. Bonomi's claim may sound implausible, like the insanity defense. Bonomi's claim may sound implausible, like the insanity defense, but for a mortgage, is it? Bonomi says he has bipolar disorder, and in New York, there's a legal precedent for allowing a mental health condition to be the basis for invalidating a contract. We'll get to the psychiatric and legal expert analysis of that question in a moment, but first to the suit in which Bonomi seeks to void the mortgage and note for $3.85 million plus interest and damages and attorney fees. He is seeking a jury trial of his peers. Plaintiff was acting under an uncontrollable manic psychosis at the time he entered into the mortgage and note. The suit filed in October of 2025 reads, "It is a recognized diagnostic fact that a symptom of bipolar disorder is irrational risk-taking and impulsive behavior, including reckless spending. And the bank, Bonomi alleges, should have known better. Quote, defendant was aware or willfully avoided acknowledging that plaintiff was not at the time competent to enter into the mortgage and note," end quote. It's always so slimy when it comes down to a fight. It always gets really, it's just something. JP Morgan Chase initially sought to have the case dismissed, but in May it answered the complaint. Quote, to the extent a response is required, it read, Chase denies the allegations contained therein and leaves plaintiff to Justin Page. But wait, it's one thing for a potential buyer to be in a grip of a real estate fantasy, but didn't the bank require an appraisal before signing off on the mortgage? What did that say? In an email, Bonomi's attorney said the bank, quote, claims it showed John the appraisals, but in fact, he never saw them. They must have been pretty high to allow the bank to loan so much money. In 2021, the same year Bonomi made his purchase, the town of Wellfleet assessed the property's value at over $4.38 million. In an attempt to show how seductive the house was, Bonomi's legal filing includes a link to the real estate agent's marketing video. It's 3 minutes of airy interiors and drone footage of windswept dunes set to classical music. By the time a bird swoops by in the achingly pale blue sky, a bald eagle, perhaps Nicole Kidman herself, would not seem out of place. I don't know who wrote this. The 5,000 square foot plus house located on a coastal bank within the Cape Cod National Seashore was born in controversy, opposed by the National Park Service, but ultimately built anyway in 2010 on the narrow strip of beauty between Cape Cod Bay and Wellfleet Harbor by a couple named Mark and Barbara Blausch. Around the Cape, the Blausch House, as it is still known in gossip, this is in. All right. Looks like the previous owner had multiple legal cases and notices about the house and how it was built. Bonomi bought the house in November of 2021, and the headlines continued. They chronicled his unsuccessful attempt to sell the house for $1 million less than he paid. His attempt to blame the home's predicament on the town for refusing to let him build a stone revetment. And then perhaps inevitably, as it is seemingly imminent, tumble into the sea posed an ever more urgent environmental threat, its end. Controversial house on eroding Cape Cod bluff demolished by homeowners, the Globe reported. An attorney does not know of any cases in which a similar argument has ever been used to avoid a mortgage. And as for Bonomi's claim that he shouldn't have been given a mortgage, it can sound far-fetched to a layperson. Experts say there is no question that a person with bipolar disorder experiencing mania could spend an extraordinary amount of money. But it's complicated. Among the potential remedies, she and other scholars are studying an advance directive in which the person themselves would specify when their own spending should be stopped. Another is empowering a trusted individual to get an alert when over a pre-specified amount is about to be spent and options to reverse large payments. I got to say that I don't support this gentleman's argument. I don't believe that the bank should be on the hook for his mortgage and note. I believe that bipolar disorder is a very serious situation that people deal with. I also know that getting a mortgage and buying a property is a very serious situation that people deal with. And it would be one thing to blame, grabbing a drink or something like that. But the truth is that buying a home and taking a mortgage, even if you're paying all cash escrow, you're still going to have a minimum of 7 days usually. And for a multi-million-dollar deal, I'm sure it was well over 30 days of due diligence before the closing. And that is enough time for any loved one to intervene, for any medical professional that they're working with to counsel them, for any, mental health professional that's monitoring their case to kind of get inside with them and talk it through. I don't believe that you can go back on a bad purchase, blame it on being bipolar or manic, and then expect the bank to absorb that loss. And here's why I say that, because when a bank should need to be bailed out, who do you think actually does the bailing? It's the taxpayer. And I personally do not want to pay your mortgage and note, dude. I'm sorry you bought a house on a cliff. I'm sorry that you're not able to live there, and I'm sorry that you're dealing with mental issues that clearly are impacting you in a very real way. But I don't want to pay your mortgage as a taxpayer. I got enough problems and bad decisions that I made in my life that I got to deal with, and I'm not asking you to handle it. All right. And then let's go forward then to realtors only. This is for Florida realtors only. You're going to really love this story. This comes from the Florida realtors. And it's a story about spotting legal risks before they escalate. I want to read this to you and tell me, maybe comment or drop me a note and let me know if this makes you think of a specific person or group that you see on our social media timelines or that you're working with in the local market. Guys, let me read you the story. What might feel like a routine advertisement, rental screening decision, or response to a customer can expose a real estate professional to a far more than a regulatory warning, said Juana Watkins, Florida Realtors General Counsel and Vice President of Law and Policy. Speaking at the recent Florida Real Estate Legal Summit, Watkins warned that the line between conduct that is illegal and contact that could create financial liability is not always clear. Obvious misconduct might be easy to recognize, she said, but questions involving advertising, fair housing, assistance animals, copyrighted materials, and customer communications often fall in shades of gray. Check this out. There's no place where the line is thinner between legal and liable than advertising, Watkins said at the summit, which was sponsored by Florida Realtors. An agent's conduct could be examined by several entities and under different standards, including the Florida Real Estate Commission, civil courts, government agencies, and local Realtor Association professional standards panels. A decision that does not lead to license discipline could still result in a lawsuit, fair housing complaint, or code of ethics complaint. Advertising is one of the most common points of exposure because it reaches customers publicly. It's viewed by attorneys, regulators, fair housing testers, and others, Watkins said. Words intended to save applicants time or explain screening policies can unintentionally create a barrier. Rental advertising that says no felons, no criminal history, or uses similar blanket restrictions could lead to allegations that the policy disproportionately excludes certain groups. And you go, well, we're not going to rent to a felon. This is telling us that maybe that's not appropriate in the ad, all right? Rather than announcing who will not qualify, Watkins said agents should explain that all applicants are subject to the same screening process or direct them to the appropriate person for information about an association's application procedures. Agents should also understand the laws and ordinances that apply where they are working. A real estate license allows an agent to practice throughout Florida, but local fair housing protections and enforcement procedures can vary. Just because you can doesn't mean you should, Watkins said, urging agents who enter an unfamiliar market to research the rules that apply there. The same caution applies when agents choose where and how to advertise. A social media platform's format or character limit does not excuse an advertisement that omits necessary information, or creates a fair housing concern. If a platform does not provide enough room to advertise properly, Watkins said, it might not be the right place for your message. So let me paraphrase that. You're never going to be able to argue to Freck that Twitter only had 140 characters, and so you couldn't put your broker's information. It's never going to fly. They're going to say then you shouldn't advertise on there. And I agree with that. I think we're all trying to straddle every platform that's out there. Any platform that can get me a look, a like, a share, I'm going to go to, and I'm trying to tailor my message to fit in that vehicle so that it delivers to you crystal clear exactly what I want to say. But the truth is, certain apps are built on brevity, and other ones are built for the long form. And your advertising is the same way. So I think that's a really nice message. Let me tell you a little bit more. Watkins also cautioned agents against assuming that a change in federal policy or enforcement eliminates legal exposure. Fair housing matters still involve state law, local ordinances, the Realtor Code of Ethics, and private lawsuits. An agent could avoid a license discipline, yet still face a civil claim, she said. That distinction applies to applicant screening, assistance animal requests, advertising, and other areas where several laws or standards do overlap. Recurring risks also include copyrighted photographs and telephone or text message marketing. Watkins described a business that initially faced a claim involving one photograph, but ultimately paid more than $200,000 after the lawsuit expanded into a broader review of its practices. A single photo. Watkins urged realtors to seek guidance before an uncertain situation becomes a larger legal problem. Through the Florida Realtors Legal Hotline, members can talk through questions involving conflicting rules, advertising language, fair housing, and other issues that arise in their business. I love this. The unasked question is the dangerous question. The unasked question is the dangerous question. Talk to your broker. If you're a real estate agent, you should be talking to your broker. I believe that your broker should be signing off on your advertising. Hey, I'm getting ready to put this out there to the market. Do you like the way that it presents our image? And your broker goes, well, does it have all the required legal disclosure? Does it match our color scheme? Does the font look goofy, or does it match what we have selected? And then finally, if you're a broker and your agent comes to you and you're not sure, let's go to the Florida Legal Hotline. That hotline is a resource that is available to a licensed and active realtor so that they can call and get legal advice. We're not saying that they're going to tell you that they're not going to back you up in court over it, but they're going to give you interpretation of the law, interpretation of the rules. You might find them to say something along the lines of, if we're not sure, then let's err on the side of caution. I can tell you that many realtors, at least in my orbit, are not exercising an abundance of caution in their advertising. But I'm not the authority to come and check you on it. So I want you to do what makes you happy. I want you to work hard to grow your business. I want you to be transparent to the customer about your fees and your services and everything that you offer. And I want you to win, because if you're watching this and you're hanging with Title Adam, if you're in the house, then I'm rooting for you. I hope that you root for me as well. If you're buying, selling, building, refinancing, hey, if you're doing a deal in Florida, 67 counties, guys, tag in Title Adam. I'm local and licensed. I'm a remote online notary. I have all the tools, the talent, and the treasure to bring you to the closing table faster and with less stress. It sounds like a great slogan. It sounds like something that I memorized, but it's actually what we do. We care about you, and we want to make sure that you're well taken care of and that your customers are well taken care of. I closed a deal last night here at 8 o'clock for one of my top realtors, because that's what we had to do to make the deal work. We didn't schedule it from the start that it was going to be at 8, but we needed to close at 8. We got it done. We're not going to put off to tomorrow what we could do today. That's part of working with a team. I'm in Lehigh Acres. I've got a beautiful office in Estero. I've got a beautiful office in Bonita Springs, and would love to have you in at any of them. But through remote online notarization, we're now closing around the globe, and we can make it so easy for you and safe, right? Because we got to be safe. If we're going to be fast, we got to be safe. Anyways, dinner hour, I got to get this going. I got to get out of here for the day, but I wanted to take a quick minute and just thank the people that are with me on this journey, that have been supporting me, that have been making sure that I have what I need to back up the promises that I make. And that's everywhere from Westcor, who's my underwriter. I write all of my policies through Westcor. Mario Walguarneri is my rep. If you're not underwriting through Westcor, you need to get in touch with him. You need to see what they can do for your business because he's elevated my game, as you've seen, and he backs up every policy that I write. It goes down to my surveyor and my lien searcher, which is Target. I use Target Lien Search and Target Surveying for everything. Not that I don't have friends in the business. I trust them. I know that their prices are competitive. And again, I have a level of confidence in their work. And so I'm working with Target. And then to my team, Juliet up front, helping me onboard that file. She's a licensed title insurance agent and working towards paralegal. She is a sharp, sharp tool in the drawer. I've got Amanda here with me in Lehigh Acres, and she is skilled. She has lethal, lethal precision on her files. Her documents are clean, everything. She does my final policies and recording. We've got a great team together because if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, you got to bring a team, and you need good people on your team. That's your homeowner's insurance. It's your title insurance agent. It's your realtor. It's your mortgage broker, lender. It's your surveyor. You need all those things. And if every member on the team is firing, you're going to have a great, great experience. And if you're working with me, I'm going to be able to help navigate that experience from start to finish. I'm going to be, once you get into contract, I'm going to be the guy that kind of takes the helm. And I'm going to be the last guy you talk to at the end of the deal. And I'm going to either shake your hand and send you a wire, or I'm going to hand you the keys and take a picture with you. And it's such a treat. No, my name is Adam, and they call me Title Adam. But I'm just a guy that lives in Lehigh and loves to be in the picture with you. I love to celebrate. I love to have a good time. I love to turn the cameras on and chat with my friends here on Title Adam TV. And again, if you're not subscribed, if you're not following, if you're not sending me random Cash App money and Zelle, then go ahead and do that because we need that and we'll need that going forward. But what I really need from you is your support. And it's just that. If you're buying or selling, tag me in. Let your real estate agent know that you're rolling with Title Adam. And if you're one of my realtors watching this, thank you for watching. I'm getting back to work to get our deals ready for closing. And I'm always here in Lehigh. So if you want to come in the house with me, you just let me know. I'm out.
That's a wrap on Title Adam in the House. Subscribe, share, and tag in Title Adam when it's time to close. You want to be a guest? Book your spot. The link's in the show notes.
Hey, Meta. Record. Now I'm here in my office. We just got done shooting Title Adam in the House. Just a quick rant. And I wanted to take a minute with the Meta Ray-Ban display glasses and show you the Rodecaster Pro 2. This is the engine behind my podcast. This is the workhorse. And I'll put a link in the video for you to check it out if you're interested. If you've ever thought about podcasting, there's tons of equipment options out there for you, but there's not a lot of good ones. Keith Dobman told me, buy nice or buy twice. Buy the Rodecaster Pro 2. Click the link and let me know when you're going to start putting your show out because I can't wait to see what you do. Boom. We're done. That's a wrap. And if you're still there,